Shalom, first and foremost, all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, HaChachmadash, double honors to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, fellow elect. All right, you Russia quiet from the Las Vegas church. Just want to tap into this digital ID, and the world acts like they want to reject it, but when the squeeze comes harder, they're not gonna reject it too much, right? So let's start right here, which lets you know the digital ID will be something is just a precursor to the MOT to the B. Okay, and Palantir is developing a way to have all of that on one system, all your biometric identification, all digital on one system. All right. So another one of these videos, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but going to show you that this rolling out now is in prophetic times. Okay, it says, matter of fact, let's start with this. Okay, and so you see there's uproars going on. Okay, and we've been telling you from the beginning, man, about this. Okay, people are just picking up. We didn't use the term digital ID, but we for sure described it to you because it's described in Revelation the 13th chapter. All right, so these are prophetic times we're living in, and this digital rollout is it. Okay, this ain't the MOT to be, but this is a sign of prophecy. It in this form that a sign of prophecy is coming to pass. Okay, and I got this one real quick. 2 weeks to flatten the curve has turned into digital ID real quick, right? Catholic society can't be implemented unless digital ID is in place. Digital ID is the line in the sand you must not cross. Long story short, the 19 had nothing to do with your health, but the CBDC digital ID has nothing to do with your safety. The end, right? Remember when digital ID was a crazy conspiracy theory? Now it's rolling out everywhere under the name of safety and convenience. Must grab one of my favorite Benjamin Franklin quotes. Just to be quick about it, original quote, "They who can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." Okay, meaning this quote suggests that, and this is the chat, right? Overview suggests that if a society trades its fundamental freedoms for the promise of temporary security, it will ultimately end up with neither. The safety offered is seen as a poor and fleeting substitute for the essential liberty that has been surrendered. Context: Benjamin Franklin wrote this in a 1755 letter concerning a tax dispute between the Pennsylvania General Assembly and the Penn family, where the Assembly was trying to raise funds for frontier defense. The Penn family blocked the tax. Franklin felt this compromise of the Assembly's ability to govern was a sacrifice of essential liberty for a temporary financial solution. Okay, and it has more. It was noted by the NPR. Now, that's the thing. This trade-off that people are gonna be flocked into. You've been squeezed leading to it. Okay. Everything from 9/11, way back in 2001, all the way up to 19, okay, all the way till now. Okay, and all the Amber Alerts and the school shootings, all these things lead together. All roads lead to the MOT to the B, the image of the beast, okay, which is a part of the New World Order, would rule under technocracy, okay? That's what all roads lead to, except this road of salvation, Lord willing. We be of the elect, us listening, learning, and watching, and praying, and so on and so forth. It works, all right? Hoping. back in the Instagram, it says, we told you, you laughed. Turns out the conspiracy theorists were just early as usual. Prophetic. Okay? We're prophetic with it. Says, and I'm not reading who these are from, but you can see it. It says, UK just made digital IDs mandatory. That's what that chant was about. Okay? It was in the UK. You can see the flag at the bottom. It says, Albania just appointed its first an AI minister. Trump announced AI verification system at the UN. Vietnam to deactivate 86 million bank accounts without biometric ID. If you don't have it, 86 million people won't get their access to their bank accounts. Today's conspiracy theory is tomorrow's reality. Funny how multiple countries are looking to implement digital ID all at once. Must be a coincidence. And we've been saying this to you. You know, you got none of, the Middle East and America and Israel and Russia and you got all these countries that can't see eye to eye on anything except for implementing a digital system of money, a digital money system. Okay? And now the ID with the digital. Okay? It says, almost like it was foretold in prophecy thousands of years ago, Revelation 13:17. Doesn't sound so far-fetched anymore, does it? And it says, there's a quote, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast or the number of his name, which I was going to get it. This is the KJV version, looks like. Okay, but the key to this, or which wasn't the thing, it was just about the prophecy, but I might as well go into it, is that word mark. Vietnam erases 86 million bank accounts of non-compliant citizens who refuse digital ID. And I think Iran or Iraq or somebody else was involved with that as well. Not theirs, but they were saying the same thing. Biometric ID isn't to keep the kids safe on the internet, it's to track you everywhere. You know that, right? Say no to, you can say no all you want. They're just going to pull a squeeze on you people, man. Okay? This is all it says that it should do for you. You can read them for yourself. Okay? Yep, long story short, once you own nothing, being chipped, living in a social credit system as a digital slave. Remember, it all started with you wearing a mask and being compliant to that, right? Anything digital can be hacked, wiped, programmed, blocked, frozen, controlled, monitored, etc. Digital ID is the gateway to full control and must be stopped at all costs. Your freedom is at stake. Okay, we'll see what happens. First digital ID, then central bank digital currency, CBDC, then carbon credits, okay, then social credit scores, then you are beyond screwed, right? Cashless society can't be implemented unless digital ID is first in place. Okay, it says it again at the end of it, all right?
Very nice way. Now let me just put it blatantly to you. The program targets the birth of new babies. So once you have your baby, before your baby leaves the hospital, you no longer get a paper birth certificate, but then you get a digital one that is somehow implanted somewhere on somebody's body. Think about that, but have a listen to this.
The digital ID, which has been a big problem to us for a very long time, is now on a testing mode for the next 2 months. I have been assured by all the stakeholders, led by the ministries concerned, that by December, we will be able to launch digital ID, where every Kenyan don't have to carry any paper, plastic or otherwise, as an ID, that they should be able to be identified digitally using their iris or their fingerprints, and we can transact without the necessity of people struggling to identify who they are. And The proudest part of it is that we don't have to spend the billions that we have spent on all the other manenos, as all of you know.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
Kenya is in serious trouble. Now, for you to accept this, that means you're going to be completely surveilled and controlled. Think about it. So they have targeted the new babies, of course, even the ordinary citizens, the grown-ups, the young ones, the teenagers, and even the elderly ones will receive this digital ID. But they will then create a new generation where they'll be completely under this digital ID and they have no choice.
You have choice. Is the first and maybe the strongest aha epiphany moment that you could have. Lying to you ever since you were born and before that.
Humanity is the hare sleeping under the tree, and the new...
I just told you.
Okay, so I mean, I'm trying to get to precept or two, but look what they got. It says digital ID forced this Chinese delivery man on his knees to beg health officials that not send him off to a quarantine camp. He got caught with an expired passport from the 19. He missed the test from the 19. You will lose all your freedom and dignity because of digital ID. Okay? This is how Chinese government uses digital ID to control people. That's probably going to become a buzzword if it's not already. If you get caught with the red code in your 19 passport, it means you're not fully inoculated. Immediately, an alarm goes off. This sounds like the movie Songbird, where instead of the 19, it was the 23. Right? Immediately, an alarm goes off. Then health officials would send you off to a quarantine camp. Somebody would cough, and all of a sudden, people would rush over. And see the license plate reader and spotters video I did. Yeah, you got to understand that this is very possible that people are going to be contact tracing and turning people in. Okay, oh, they didn't get their updated inoculations. Okay, they didn't do this. They don't have that. Okay, they're tying the people in to snitching on one another, and instead of that whole freedom to do what you want. Everybody, like we saw happening with how come he's not wearing a mask? Why don't she have this? She should be. That's not a real N95 mask. That needs to be the real. He's wearing a sleeve, and they were, it's crazy, but this is the world we live in now. Okay, and it's getting closer and closer to the prophetic times, eventually the day of the Lord. All right, but I just want to use this to paint the picture to you, so you can see where this is going. And I always bring up, every time I bring this idea up, technocracy and digital money and all and everything else going on, IDs and all of that. Black Mirror. Okay, you can see it in other movies, but Black Mirror is like an hour or so of a bunch of different scenarios and situations under life in a technocracy. Okay, so you need to pay. You need to pay for your own 21-day quarantine, including food, that and PCR test fee. Wow, $1,000 US. In America, Trump announced AI verification system at UN, right? And this was what the video looked like. Enforce biological weapons convenient, which is going to be meeting with you have to read that whole thing. This guy said it. We saw in the UK. That's what they were chanting about. They don't want it, but they're going for it. Okay, this is what it is. Chattel. All right, showing you what it is. And I mean, there's so many people on the internet now. trying to spill the beans on this thing. We're just sitting back and watch prophecy unfold and continue to edify it by tying it into the scriptures. So back in Matthew 24, I didn't read anything yet, but Matthew 24, and I'll start at verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. This isn't the one I want. This isn't the one I want. The one I want is in Luke. Luke 21 and 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, let's look up that word commotions in the NLT. Right? In the NLT it says, and when you shall hear of wars and insurrections, don't panic. Yes, these things must take place first, but the end won't follow immediately. Now let's look up that word. It said commotions. See if they give me insurrections. Disturbance. Okay, disturbance. Let's see. Instability, state of disorder, disturbance, confusion, tumult. Okay. Go back. We're going to Google that word. Commotions. It changed it a little bit. Nope. So good. A violent uprising against an authority or government. Okay? A violent uprising. So, gas, but they have to withstand what's happening with ICE, and they have to resist the government with that same violence. Okay? We see movies that do that type of thing. Okay? We've seen it in the Mars one, Total Recall, where there was a resistance, and Terminator. We see that as the Matrix. We see that in these movies. But there's always a violent uprising against the establishment. Okay. Okay. So that hit that point. Let's hit another one. 2nd Esdras 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently within itself. And what time are we measuring? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. What shall be the time that the Lord shall restore the kingdom of heaven? Okay, these are the things that we're lining up and measuring. When do we get out of these chains of darkness? When do we get salvation? When do these prophecies completely come to pass so we can get out of this hell? Okay? It says, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before through prophecy. Okay? It says, then shalt thou understand that at the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. And there's uproars, and this is just one, but there's, according to this, in the UK, but they're all over. But social media is holding an uproar as well. Okay? Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Jumping to verse 7. Okay. Because I'm going to jump to Peter. I'll go there now. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 6. It says, I'm going to start at 6. It says, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. Talking about pre-Noah. Okay. That was the first death. This is the second death according to the book of Revelation. Okay, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Okay. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise. Though time may seem long, he's not slack concerning his promise. He ain't going to forget. 1,000 years to him is but a day, so it's fresh. This happened yesterday, a day or two ago. Ain't even been a half a week fully, right? It says, concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward. That's what this is about. He's holding back the four winds to all the elect be sealed. Okay? And that prophecy be fulfilled. None of this shall be removed. Not one jot or tittle shall be removed. To all be fulfilled. All the prophecies are fulfilled. and they have to play out as it read up. If I'd have read it in Second Esdras, all things, begins with miracles or whatever, but ends with effects and signs, right? It finishes and says, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, the elect, but that all should come to repentance. And even those that are martyred, okay, are part of the Lord's plan. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night when those aren't ready, even though we're warning you ahead. It's going to hit when everybody's distracted, in a worse situation or whatever the case may be, right? In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Okay, so it's the way you conduct yourself. That's what the word conversation in the Greek is anastrophe, and that word means conduct. Okay? So it says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, and that's what we should be looking for, right? Let's go back to Second Esdras and close. This is, so I know I misquoted it, but I'm going to read it from verse 5 and 6, right? What I misquoted, then I'll hit 7 and close out. It says, Second Esdras chapter 9, verse 5, it says, and like as all that is made in the world had the beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, right? So the end is manifest. All things happen, all to manifest to the end of to the last days. Okay. It says, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation. Okay, in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Okay, so that's what's gonna happen. Excuse me, I skipped the verse. Verse 6. So the times also of the highest had plain beginnings in wonder, and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. I jumped down. Anyway, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. And that's the purpose. As we see this digital ID coming to pass, let it be another warning, another prophecy beginning to come to pass. Okay? And even the forced mandatory forcing of you to take it. Okay? As it talks about, as I read those versions of the Revelation 13, 15, was 17 chapter they had. Okay, when you see that, that's how you should know that you need to change your conduct. Okay, and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. You believe this word wholeheartedly. Shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land. Okay, and that's what we really want, because that fire in this lake of fire in America, because this is where the lake of fire is going to happen, going to appear to be a lake of fire when you glance down out of the chariots and down into the escape vehicles, the vehicles of the Lord and the angels, and look down at the earth. You're going to see the fire over America, or in America, burning down America. From over it, it's going to look like a lake of fire. All right? That's salvation. And you're not saved until that moment. And that's Revelation 15 anyway. And within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then it talks about those that haven't. Okay, and I'm going to skip all of that. Jump to 13, and it says, and therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. Because there's all going to be all kinds of scenarios. Okay, they're going to take these people out. Okay, wars and rumors of wars. They're going to die in these wars, these great earthquakes. Okay, pestilences, famines. They're going to die by multiple ways. But it's for you to stay locked into what the righteous are doing and are supposed to be doing in these last days. Okay, so that you may have salvation. So I'm in it there, Lord willing, that if I'm giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Bashim Hakodash that belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone. Greetings, salutation. Oh my God. Greetings and salutations and much love unto you. Hopefully, to the next one. Shalom.